What if I told you that the ultimate nervous system reset doesn't require a monthly subscription, a handful of expensive supplements, or locking yourself in a dark room with a biohacking gadget? What if the most powerful intervention for your daily stress levels is literally just waiting by the front door, staring at you and wagging its tail?
It sounds almost absurd when you frame it that way, doesn't it? We are so deeply conditioned to believe that better health requires complex, cutting-edge technology. But when we actually look at the physiology, specifically how our bodies recover from modern stress, taking a dog for a walk is emerging as a shockingly effective way to improve heart rate variability. In fact, for a lot of people, the data suggests it actually outperforms formal meditation.
That is exactly the kind of claim that makes people stop in their tracks. Outperforming meditation. Meditation is practically the untouchable gold standard for stress relief. Before we unpack why a simple walk around the block with a golden retriever might beat a silent retreat, let's establish the baseline. You mentioned heart rate variability, or HRV. This metric is everywhere right now. It is on every smartwatch, every fitness ring. But what exactly is it telling us beneath the surface?
Hmm. Think of HRV as the shock absorbers on a car, but for your nervous system. It measures the microscopic variations in time between your successive heartbeats. Now, logically, people assume a healthy heart beats like a metronome, perfectly steady. But if your heart beats at exactly 1 second intervals with zero variation, your HRV is actually very low. That rigidity means your nervous system is stressed. It is locked into a sympathetic state, which is our fight or flight mode. But if there is a lot of variance, if the intervals are constantly shifting by milliseconds depending on your breathing, your HRV is high. That flexibility means your body can easily transition between stress and relaxation. It shows profound biological adaptability.
So, rigidity is dangerous and variability is resilience. A high HRV means you can handle a stressful email from your boss, process the frustration, and then immediately calm down, rather than carrying that elevated panic all the way to bedtime.
Precisely. Low HRV is the physiological signature of modern burnout, poor sleep, and chronic strain. High HRV means you have a robust parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest side, and this brings us back to the dog. Studies are consistently showing that dog owners, particularly when they are out walking their pets, display incredibly healthy autonomic nervous system patterns. We are talking about lower levels of cortisol, the primary stress hormone, and a significant, measurable boost in oxytocin, which is the bonding hormone.
I can already hear the skeptics leaning in and saying, sure, dogs are cute and fresh air is nice, but how does that scientifically beat a dedicated mindfulness practice? Because meditation is highly targeted. You are literally sitting down with the sole, deliberate intention of regulating your mind. How does a casual stroll compete with that?
That is exactly where we run into a fascinating psychological barrier. Meditation is fantastic, and there are mountains of clinical evidence supporting it. But let's be fiercely honest about the modern human condition. For someone who is chronically stressed, sitting in absolute silence can actually be terrifying. You close your eyes, remove all external stimuli, and suddenly you are trapped in a quiet room with your own racing thoughts. It requires immense cognitive effort to push through that initial resistance. We call it the meditation paradox. The harder you try to relax, the more anxious you become about the fact that you aren't relaxing properly.
Oh, absolutely. It is the classic inner monologue of, am I breathing right? Is my mind clear yet? Why am I thinking about my grocery list? I am failing at relaxing. It just becomes another task on the to-do list to fail at.
Exactly. You turn relaxation into a performance metric. But dog walking bypasses that psychological friction entirely. It is what we might call a multi-system parasympathetic intervention. Meditation is like a laser beam targeting mental regulation. Dog walking is more like a warm blanket covering multiple biological systems at once. You are getting low-intensity aerobic movement, which naturally balances the cardiovascular system without spiking stress hormones. You are getting morning sunlight in your eyes, which anchors your circadian rhythm and optimizes your daily cortisol curve.
And you are completely forced to disconnect from the digital world. You cannot comfortably doom scroll on your phone if you're holding a leash, navigating a sidewalk, and holding a plastic bag. You are forced to be physically present in the three-dimensional environment.
Yes, that forced environmental awareness is a crucial circuit breaker for stress. Plus, there is the social friction, the good kind of friction. You pass a neighbor, the dogs sniff each other, you exchange a quick smile or a mundane greeting about the weather. That spontaneous, low-stakes social engagement signals safety to the primitive parts of our brain. Combine all of that with the profound emotional buffering of simply interacting with an animal that loves you unconditionally. Your nervous system is being flooded with signals of safety, light, movement, and connection all at the exact same time.
It really highlights how bizarre our modern lifestyle has become when you lay it out like that. We sit under artificial fluorescent lights, staring at glowing rectangles for 10 hours a day, absorbing global crises through our screens, and then we try to hack our way out of the resulting anxiety with a subscription app. We treat our bodies like machines that just need a quick software update, rather than biological organisms that evolved in nature.
That is a brilliant way to put it, and it gets to the very core of why we are so stressed. We evolved to move, to be outside, to live in community, and to interact rhythmically with our environment. The nervous system interprets safety through those specific evolutionary pathways. When you pet a dog, your heart rate physically sinks and slows down. It is a deeply biological intuition. We do not always need to over-intellectualize our recovery. Sometimes the body just needs visceral proof that it is safe, and a companion animal provides that proof on a neurochemical level.
This brings up a really interesting philosophical point about the wearable technology we use to track all this. We strap these devices to our wrists and fingers to monitor our HRV, hoping to optimize our health. But maybe the real value of the wearable isn't in telling us to work harder or try more complex hacks. Maybe its true purpose is proving to us that the simple things actually work.
That is exactly the core philosophy of intelligent health tracking. Wearables themselves do not improve your health. They are merely mirrors reflecting your internal state. Interpretation is what actually improves health. When people start tracking their HRV, they often expect that some extreme ice bath protocol or a complex, expensive supplement stack will be the magic bullet. But then they look at their data over a month, and what do they see? The days their recovery scores are the absolute highest are the days they simply took a long, slow walk outside with their dog, got some morning sun, and had a laugh with a friend.
The data forces us to confront our own overcomplication of health. It is almost humbling to realize that all the money and effort we spend on wellness can be outperformed by a walk in the park.
It is deeply humbling. The human nervous system did not evolve behind a desk, it evolved in motion. Chronic low-grade stress keeps us in a state of hypervigilance, and the hard truth is we cannot simply think our way out of it. We have to move our way out of it, and we have to connect our way out of it. Dog walking interrupts the chronic stress loop effortlessly because it does not feel like a medical intervention. It just feels like life.
So, if we look at the broader societal implication here, we are spending billions of dollars globally on wellness industries, mental health apps, and elaborate stress relief gadgets. But the ultimate takeaway seems to be a radical return to basics.
A radical return to biological basics, yes. The future of health optimization isn't necessarily about adding more technology to our lives to fix the problems caused by technology. It is about using technology to validate the ancient natural behaviors we have abandoned. The wearable just gives us the scientific permission to trust what our bodies already know. The most advanced recovery tool does not feel like a biohack at all. It feels like morning sunlight, fresh air, and a wagging tail.
It really makes you wonder what other simple evolutionary habits we have completely outsourced to the wellness industry. If a walk around the block can outperform a guided meditation session, what else are we overcomplicating? Are we paying for solutions to problems we created by simply stopping our natural movements?
I think we absolutely are. And as we continue to chase the next frontier of human performance, we might find that the greatest breakthroughs aren't ahead of us in some sterile laboratory. They might just be waiting for us in the simple behaviors we left behind.
Perhaps true optimization is just remembering how to be human again. That is something to deeply consider the next time you grab the leash. We will leave you with that thought for today. Until next time, keep moving, keep connecting, and let your body do what it was built to do.